This is the latest 4K Fire TV stick from Amazon. But they've already had 4K Fire sticks. Let's see what's different. Dave Taylor here with this. This in the box is the Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K Select. So it's the newest, latest, and ostensibly greatest from Amazon of their line of very nice, simple, and highly affordable streaming TV sticks. So you put it in the back of your television, and it gives you a smart OS that's hopefully better than the one that's built into your TV. Now, I'm going to give you a nice demo in a few minutes, and then we're going to use this Vizio TV, which has its own smart TV system built in, including support for lots of apps. But it's getting old, and it's not so easy to upgrade this hardware. Put a stick in the back, or actually do that especially for a TV that doesn't have a smart OS, and it's a whole new ballgame. But there's a lot about this that's interesting, and it's all underneath the hood. So let's start by doing a basic unboxing. As you can see, it is a fully recyclable packaging, which I really applaud Amazon for getting on the bandwagon for that. The company goes through more packaging than anyone I can think of. And on the back, you just pull off some plastic, and let's see what's in the box. So it comes out nicely and easily. So I think we can, let's see, the box is empty, we can get rid of that. So we'll start with a remote control, and there's a USB-A to micro USB cord. Pretty sure Amazon's the only company in the world still using micro USB. Catch up with the times, Amazon. And here's the actual unit itself. So this is the actual Fire TV Stick 4K Select. And if you've seen previous units, it looks exactly the same. It's the same dimensions, it's the same super simple design. There are no buttons on it, there's no touch screen, there's no tiny little TV where you can preview things. The only thing it has is HDMI on the end, and on one side there is that micro USB for power. So it does need external power. Now, we're not quite done with this box. Let's see. So there's some instructions. Is that everything? No, I think there's one more thing tucked down here in the bottom, and it is indeed, two things. So comes with batteries, which you would expect from Amazon, and it comes with a wall charger, so we don't need that piece. So let's get an inventory of everything we have. So this is the wall adapter with USB-A, which obviously works with this USB-A to micro USB cord. I'm going to point out a lot of TVs have USB-A on the back, so you should be able to plug this directly into your TV as a power source for this. It will not mean this shows up as a USB device. It's only going to use it for power. If you don't have that option or it confuses your television, they include this. So we got those. And then we have the actual Fire TV stick itself. And we're going to come back in a second, but it's interesting they're still calling them Fire TV sticks. But like I said, way back there. And then there's this little extender. So this is an HDMI to HDMI extender because some TVs are configured where maybe you have to put this in from underneath and it ends up sticking too low for the TV stand. So in situations like that, you can do something like this and get a bend on it so it's much more flexible, which is much appreciated. So we have all that, and then we have this little instruction booklet, which is actually probably going to be plenty enough to get you started. This is a pretty simple device, and most everything's going to take place on screen. There are 2 AAA batteries for the remote control, and the remote control comes in what's hopefully some sort of recyclable tissue. Don't need that. So let's see, and it has another cover. So here's the remote. This looks a whole heck of a lot like previous Amazon remotes. And I'm going to pop the back open, and that will give me the ability to put 2 batteries in. Let me just make sure. It looks like they both go in the same orientation, which is an interesting bit of design because the vast majority of multi-battery devices alternate so that they can just run current through all of them. So Amazon made it a tiny bit harder on the design of the remote so that they have that characteristic with the batteries. But the remote's ready to go, except we need to plug this in to something. So we're going to plug it into the TV. Before we get there, let me actually talk you through some of the specs and explain what makes this so interesting. Because if you look at this, let's see, well, hold on, what's happened here? Let's go back to here. Okay, sorry, my TV was being a little bit preemptive here, but this looks like it's the same as the previous generations. And in fact, if you look at this comparison chart, it seems like it's actually under-featured compared to older units. So it has 8 gig of storage, but only 1 gig of memory. It is powered by a quad-core 1.7 gigahertz CPU. It has Wi-Fi 5. The high-end 4K stick actually has Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.0. And it does support 4K Ultra HD with HDR10+. So it's going to give you a big, bright, crisp signal if it has that as its source. Of course, if you have a streaming channel that's only pushing out 720p or 1080 HD, it can't magically turn that into an Ultra HD 4K signal. But if you can stream 4K content from, for example, Netflix, if you upgrade to the 4K content, then this will give you all of that. It will also support Dolby Audio, though obviously there's no audio out, so that's going to be something where it's going to rely on your television setup. Hopefully you have a sound bar, and that'll be up to you to make sure that you're going to be able to hear that Dolby Audio. But it has a lot of capabilities. But here's where this is different. This is not running Fire OS. This is running a new operating system called Vega OS. What's the difference? Fire OS was based on Android, so it let people sideload other Android TV apps and then use that on the Fire Stick. Well, Amazon wants to control its ecosystem, kind of like Apple does. And so they've moved to Vega OS, and that's a Linux-based system, so it won't run any Android apps. If you've been getting one of these Fire Sticks and you've been putting all sorts of additional software on it, you might need to carefully evaluate whether this will support that. It is at the entry level, but it's really a shot across the bow, because what they want to do clearly is Amazon wants to get into having more devices. I think we're going to see Amazon branded Fire TVs, and the TV itself will actually be running that same Vega OS. And I guess they just decided calling this the Vega TV stick would be too confusing for people, but it's not really a Fire TV stick because it's not running Fire OS. So this is going to give us some cool new features. But what I want to do is I want to plug it in and I want to go through the setup and let's just see how it works. One of the things Amazon is proudly saying is that it is the fastest app launch for any in its price range. And they also say that yes, it only has 1 gig of memory on board rather than 2, but because it's a more efficient operating system, it's still going to run faster and better. But let's not just buy into the marketing hype. Let's turn things around and let's actually plug this in and get it set up. The good news is that it was easy to plug into the back, and the USB-A on the back of the TV is sufficient to power the unit. Now, let's get started. And I'm using the remote control, and it wants me to push pause play. All right. Now, I'll be able to choose English. And uh-oh, that is not enough power. So give me a second and I'll rewire things and we'll come right back. Okay, we're back, and this time it's looking a little more promising. And it's supposed to come pre-configured, but it looks like it wants me to enter my Wi-Fi network, so give me another second to do that. And of course, the first thing it does is check for updates. So we'll zoom past this part too, because there's always an update. It's interesting that it's showing this because on Amazon.com, it actually said that it would be pre-configured for my network and my account, but obviously that's not the case. So let me sign in. And I'm signed in, which is great. Now we can proceed yet again. This time I'm going to just choose continue. So continue, save Wi-Fi passwords. Can't imagine why my Wi-Fi password needs to be on Amazon.com. So I'm going to say no. Well, obviously it looks like it needs to grab the latest versions of some apps. But at least that's pretty quick with a good network connection. Download completed, and at any point it might actually go into the home screen. We're getting close, hopefully. Are you using a soundbar? I use just my TV. Your remote is set up, okay. Set up purchase and parental controls. I don't think I want any of that. I'm just going to let it be wide open, and I'll choose continue. And controls disabled, that's correct. Welcome to Fire TV. Personalize it with profiles. That's nice that you can have different users of different profiles and easily navigate with main menu. Decide what you want to watch with find and customize the apps in your main menu. Okay, got it. And here we go. Who is watching Fire TV? That's me. So this is Fire TV running Vega OS. And it does look like it's pretty snappy. Let's just move around a little bit. And yeah, everything's moving nice and quick. Let's see how it scrolls. Yeah, there's no complaints about the speed of this. And this home screen looks pretty familiar. Let's see, we have local channels. That's cool. And so it's obviously doing that based on my location, as you can see here in CBS News Colorado and local now Denver. And let's see, Fire TV top 10. Next up, and if I go to the top here, I can get to some of the other channels. So Fire TV has its own channels, Amazon Music, and let's go to the App Store. And here's something that's different, is that you have to use the Amazon App Store to add apps to the 4K Select because of the different operating system. It no longer supports any sort of Android apps. So here are our choices. Here are popular ones. And let's grab Apple TV. And so again, we're looking at performance here. So how long will it take to download and install? So it's processing, queued, downloading, and boom, it's downloaded and it's installing, and we're ready to open it. So that's pretty darn fast. And Apple TV will now prompt for me to actually log in. And notice, by the by, that it's no longer listed as Apple TV with a plus sign. So Apple just changed that. And there's going to be a lot of confusion because I have a hardware box also called an Apple TV. So I expect that'll be rebranded as something else. But I don't want to sign in. I'm going to click on the home button on the remote. And so that takes us here. And let's go to live streaming, which I believe is this orange one. So Fire TV channels. And let's see what we get. I just want to have some live video on the screen so you can see what that looks like. And I'm assuming this is initial configuration. It's trying to figure out channels. And then on the side, we can go to, all right, all sorts of stuff. Let's go to cooking. I didn't realize there were so many cooking options, but apparently there are. So we can go to cooking channels on now. There's a lot of stuff. Let's go to PBS Food. And so this should live stream. And I need to unmute it. So hang on and let me get that unmuted. And so what we have here is we have PBS Food. And you can see it's a really clean, crisp image. And I'm going to choose the menu option here. And so I can turn on and off closed captions with a single button on the remote, which is really nice. And there's a little TV icon on the remote. And I think that might take us to live TV. So that's convenient. And so now I'm here and I can see this is honestly like having cable TV. but without any additional subscription costs. So that's really nice. And one final time, I'm going to push that home button. And then as a final demo, I'm going to try the new Alexa interface. Now, what Amazon is saying that currently it's hooked up with Alexa, but soon enough it will actually have Alexa Plus. So I can't speak to whether that's going to happen sooner or later, but I'm going to click on the, or push on the microphone button on the remote, and we'll see what we can do. Show me children's TV. Well, let's see what it's coming up with. There you go, children's TV. Very nice. What movies can I watch by Alfred Hitchcock? Oh, isn't that nice? And we even get the sound. North by Northwest is such a fabulous movie, but we're not getting sidetracked. So I'm going to push the button one more time. Show me a funny movie that's appropriate for date night. Let's see how it does with something a little more complicated. The Princess Bride, a solid choice, and it shows us a preview on the right. And if I choose it, it looks like it's going to want me to subscribe to Disney. Well, we don't want to do that, so I'm going to mute that. And so let's just see what it shows as our date night movies. Bedazzled, it's a really entertaining movie. That needs an IndieFlex subscription. This requires Netflix. This one, I need HBO Max. And then this one, Hotel Transylvania 3, also entertaining, is also on Netflix. But notice below that, it's showing me on live TV on the National Lampoon streaming channel, I can go and watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off right now with a single click. So very well done. And notice at the very, very top, it's actually even telling me what was the search I did with Alexa to get to here. So well done, Amazon. Let me jump back on camera. I'm pretty darn impressed. I thought that the setup was pretty easy. Would have been easier if it would have actually been logged into my account, but I can forgive Amazon that because I did get it shipped before the official launch date so that it would be at my doorstep on launch day. So, you know, maybe in a week they'll actually get that process worked out, but there's a lot to like with this new Fire Stick 4K Select. And that Vega OS does seem to make it pretty darn snappy. And this is, true confession, this is an HD TV. This is not a 4K TV. There's no reason in the world to have a 4K TV that's this small. You just lose it entirely. But it still shows off just how good this unit is and how crisp the picture is and mostly how fast the whole thing is. So I think they are entirely warranted in saying moving to Vega OS has made for a faster experience, and that's great. I do want to say just a couple more things before we wrap up. So as I mentioned at the last demo, that it does include Alexa right now, but Alexa Plus is coming. In fact, there's a bunch of stuff coming. So not yet available on shipment date, but coming soon into the Vega OS will be Xbox Game Pass, Amazon Luna, which is their online gaming platform, and Amazon Kids Plus. I wouldn't be surprised to see the list of apps in their App Store quickly expand as they get this out there. And this obviously is just, again, them just starting to prime the pump. And once Amazon starts shipping its own TVs with this operating system built in, game changer. That's going to be a really interesting thing and be really interesting to see how the industry responds. I could see them having outdoor ready TVs, TVs designed specifically for RVs, all sorts of stuff. Why not a TV that's perfect for your home office? Really? That's what this is. Don't tell anyone. And so it does include, as you saw, lots of live TV options, and most of the streaming platforms now also have live streaming options. If you don't have any of those, just get the Plex app and sign up for a free account. And Plex has thousands of streaming TV channels and a huge grid where you can see all of the programs. and you can then pick all your favorites and just do that within the Plex platform. I've been a fan for many years. So really very nicely done. In terms of the unit itself, it's obviously plugged into the back, but it is 4 inches long by 1.5 inches by 0.6 of an inch, 1.5 ounces. I mean, it's a little device. It's bigger than some of the other units out there, but it's still, honestly, let's see, yeah, it's smaller than the remote. And on the remote, there are 4 buttons on the bottom that get you shortcuts to Prime Video, no surprise there, and Netflix, and Disney Plus, and Peacock. Unfortunately, you can't buy stickers and change those to your favorite 4 channels, but that's a pretty good selection. And of course, at any point, you can actually just use Alexa to ask it to launch the app or channel that you prefer. So that's everything I wanted to share with you. I think they've done a really good job. I think it's a little confusing that they're downplaying the change in operating system, because I think that's pretty important. Because otherwise you're looking at it and you're saying, why wouldn't I spend $10 more to get a better device? Uh-oh, what's happened here? There we go. Why wouldn't I spend $10 more to get a better device? And the answer is because this device is the future of the Fire Stick world. And the previous devices that they're going to still sell for a while, I'm sure, but those are eventually going to be obsolete. So I don't know that I would be buying one of those right now. And this one honestly seems to cover 99% of what you want. Anyway, enough talk. You've got this exhaustive demo and setup and unboxing and everything. I really hope you found this of value, and I really hope that you seriously consider acquiring one of these for yourself. They are eminently affordable. Now, we do need to talk price. Before we get there, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to my channel. Click or tap on that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon for notifications of my new content. And if you found this of value, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate when you do that. Excellent. Well, this is the Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K Select. That word select is very important. And it is $39.99 at Amazon.com. That is ridiculously cheap for how this will turn an old, dumb, tired TV into a modern smart TV with fast apps and all sorts of stuff. In fact, I'm going to get one of these for my daughter because she has a beautiful big TV, but the TV operating system is weirdly super slow. So just sidestepping that and using this instead will be a game changer. It will make her much more excited about that television, and I think that's a good thing. Anyway, that's what I got. Really appreciate you sticking through to the end, and I hope to catch you in my next video.